KSFR Coffin Radio.
Welcome to another exciting episode of Coffin Radio. I am Heartthrob Rob, and joining me today is Jasmin St. Clair. How are you doing?
Good, thank you for having me. What is that?
It's a little cowbell action. I love it. I think it gets the party started.
Mazel tov.
L'chaim. I love that you were able to come out today, supporting Southern California wrestling. You had a line of people coming to talk to you at the XPW booth, and you guys are really getting it popping. I love it. How did you first get involved with XPW? How did that relationship first start in those early days?
So, that's a good question. I feel like I'm on Newsmax or something right now, but yeah. So, how that happened was I was involved in the adult film business. Now, I grew up watching wrestling prior, so I always grew up as a fan watching it with my grandmother. My first pay-per-view, or my first WrestleMania was Hulk Hogan versus The Ultimate Warrior in Toronto. Some of you weren't like even a sperm in your dad's ball sack then, but still. Then, when I was working for Rob, he introduced me to the Dudley Boys, and I went to ECW's pay-per-view Living Dangerously because of Rob. Then coming back, they wanted to bring me back there, but then Rob started XPW, and I worked with that for a while. It was a really great place to be, but I also I just got out of porn completely. I was starting to train, I was training to wrestle with Sue Sexton, who's an original Glow Girl. And then there I was in ECW, but that's how I got started in XPW. So I'm really grateful to this day to Rob for that chance. Because Rob, he really did a lot for me. He was my exit out of porn, but into pro wrestling.
Out of the frying pan and into the fire, right?
Out of the frying pan. Look, I was taking a slamming, just in a different way.
Hey!
Can you throw this out, please, over there?
How long were you in the industry?
Thanks. The adult film business, let's see. Yeah. So I was in, to throw out. Sorry, hi.
The Help.
No, I'm always going to bash on him. It's fun.
I'm kidding.
So let's see. I was there for about 2.5 years. And it was like a fun time, but I don't really see myself as an adult film star. I think I was more of a purveyor. I was the voice of shock culture, the voice of American shock culture in the 90s, where people's asses didn't hurt for saying anything like retard or anything like that. Things like that. And it's just, you go into this whole world where everything's getting canceled. But it was fun being a part of American shock culture, or the purveyor of that. And, I have my one-woman show, which is based upon that. And it's fun, because I get a lot of younger people, then a lot of people that saw me and all those trash talk TVs, but people always remember that time, which is great.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with dipping your toe and having a little fun. That's cool.
Yeah.
And now you did your thing at XPW. You're talking about getting canceled. You can't cancel what's already been canceled, some of the early days of the XPW, what were some of your favorite events or things that you guys had there? Because, there was this time where it was almost villainized, and then I think that Dark Side of the Ring episode really got people's interest peaked back up with whoa!
It's very funny with Vice. So they put me on Dark Side of the 90s on the opening episode, but yet I was never even contacted to speak or narrate one of those. I don't know who they had doing that. They weren't cool. With Rob saying, I wasn't going on Dark Side of the Ring to trash him. There's no way. Even though we were talking, but not talking like we are now, obviously. But I still wouldn't do that to him because he worked his balls off for that. What was the question again?
Just
everything was cooler in the 90s.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember. I was there.
It was villainized, but I still see it as ECW on steroids. And I feel as though now Rob's, he's got such a great grasp on everything. There's something for everyone at an XPW wrestling show. The girls are amazing. We have girls that are so pretty, like supermodels, but they're bleeding. Yeah. Like Camille and all that. Then there's this lucha wrestler that comes in, Mickey Knuckles. And these girls are more brutal than the guys.
Yeah, you got Masha Slamovich.
I was so happy.
You got Camille, I think, was there at when you guys had the 6-people tournament. Ty Valkyrie. The lineup over there is really crazy. You guys have an upcoming show as well, right?
Yeah, it's for Dave. Yeah, so the next show is October 22nd, which is a Saturday. It's before my birthday if you do show up.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm October 23rd. So it's October 22nd, Saturday night in Pomona at the Fairplex. It starts at 7 p.m. But we have a great lineup so far. So,
Yeah, tell
of
us
course,
about
like
it.
the other ex-girls are there. You have Veronica Kane, who I love working with, and that bitch Misha Montana. Sage Sin Supreme, and Sage is like a force to be reckoned with. We got Mickey Knuckles back, and Luda. Like Mickey Knuckles is like our Abby the Butcher, I think. And Willie Mack, who I love. I love Willie Mack. He's so great, and I don't think Willie Mack was ever used properly in any other federation. So I'm glad that he's doing this. Of course, Dirty Ron McDonald, Schlack will be there. And I never got a chance to work with Angel the Hardcore Como, which is going to be fun because I remember he was after me after I was in XPW.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of stuff, but with XPW there's something for everyone. We have a much more streamlined product where you have like women's matches, you have women's hardcore, you have the TV champion, the regular heavyweight, and there's, we have old school cat fights. So you need to have a bit of both. I like, everyone that is for women's wrestling, but if you have every other match as a women's that, women's this, it takes away from what was there. And I know I sound like a misogynistic asshole, but whatever. Am I allowed to curse?
You're allowed to do whatever you want here.
Yeah, you can suck my ass.
No, I think that you guys have a little bit for everybody, and it's, you're coming for the extreme fans. There's there's a resurgence with wrestling, especially in Southern California wrestling.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you guys are doing it.
Me too. I'm so happy, and I'm just grateful for the fans that come out to the shows and support us, especially those of you who were there the first show where it was like 8 hours long. That's not going to happen. We had like 2 tournaments.
Yeah.
I really like working with Big Joe as well. He was cool. So yeah, it's funny. Like I wonder what happened to Damian Steele to this day, because I managed the first heavyweight champ, and that was him. We haven't heard from him in a while.
Who are you looking forward to managing, or maybe being in the ring with, or whatever it might be? Who are you looking forward to working with?
Like that Misha Montana has such a freaking mouth on her. So yeah, I'd love to beat the shit out of her again for sure. And that's a shoot. Veronica, I love working with. I would love to work a program with Willie Mack, because he was a fan there, and I think he's really super talented. And like I said, no one else did. I don't think they gave him his due diligence wherever else he worked. I think he's a lot better than what they did for him, or what he did for them. I'd even work with any of the heavyweights, Brian Cage, or anyone. I work with Masada. Like I would work with anyone managing any of the wrestlers, but right now it's just this whole thing with Schlack we're doing. He's a deathmatch champ. That's Veronica's thing. It's just a matter of like Misha always like intervening. Even if I were to manage like Willie Mack, I'm sure she'd be in there too, trying to get in and like spread her fucking ass there too. But yeah, I'd love to I'd love to work with Willie or with any of the hardcore guys there.
Well, you guys have a lot going on. You're always in the place to be. Where can people follow that on social media, and maybe the upcoming show if you want to run down one more time?
Sure. So again, the show is October 22nd in Pomona at the Derby Fairflex, 7 p.m. bell time. It's our Halloween show. You could dress up if you want.
Get spooky!
Ooh, yeah. And we have a meet and greet for those of you who buy the VIP packets ahead of time. There are always surprises there too. So if you want me on social media, I have a podcast called Crazy Train with Jasmin St. Clair. That's crazy with a K. So I have 50 episodes out so far. Everyone's been on it, like Jazz, April Hunter. Who else has been on there? Viva Van has been on there. I've had porn stars, ex-porn stars, therapists, felons. Like I've had some really cool people on there. So Crazy Train with Jasmin St. Clair. Then on Twitter, Jasmin St. Clair. So JASMINSTCLAIRE. So it's no E at the end of Jasmine. Instagram, The Real Jasmin St. Clair. And you can catch me once a week on Freedom First TV. I have a show called Ice Cold Conservative, and I'm on Rumble as well with Hot Topic. And I'm not one of those crazy Christian conservatives. I'm just one who makes sense.
Joe, I love it. Thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it.
See you guys October 22nd. If you're not going to be there, watch it on Fight TV. But it's Halloween. It's special, and it's the day before my birthday.
You got to celebrate. For Jasmin St. Clair, I'm Heartthrob Rob, and if you like what you're watching, then hop in the coffin. Follow us on social media at Coffin Radio. Coffin is spelled with a K. And that's all for today.
ASMR Coffin Radio.